there is a belief knocking around that there should be peace on Earth. But I don't know, where did that come from? I mean, what's the evidence that there should be peace on Earth? I mean, where did that come from? Who said that?
I think it's the origin, maybe the Bible. When they talk about the meek shall inherit the earth and 1,000 years of peace and all this kind of stuff. Is there kind of that storyline?
If you think about the Earth is an illusionary zone. It's inhabited by beings who want to come here and experience what the Earth has to offer. Now, the fact we have made it to the Earth in a slightly chaotic zone means that we obviously wanted to experience that. It doesn't necessarily mean that we want to keep it in a chaotic zone, and we probably want to bring some sort of peace and more harmony to it. But we certainly wanted to climb into it and have that experience. And this also brings us to a very fundamental thing that's going on out on Earth. Because we wanted to come down here, and I'll just sort of say, from an astral perspective, this is a very low vibration world. This seems to be a marginal world. It's so low vibration that it's really tricky to snap out of what's going on. And I'll speak about it a bit more, but just go with the initial idea. Very low vibration, very tricky place to deal with, but quite fun. It's rather like the Americans would say, going to the Super Bowl. They're playing top league now. So you come down to Earth, and to get down to this level requires an enormous amount of input. You've really got to squash yourself down to get here. And so powerful is the intent to get to a low level that once you've arrived, a lot of characters just don't want to snap out of it. They've forgotten that they actually wanted to snap out of it afterwards. So intent were they on getting down, like someone diving down into the deep ocean and getting to the lowest possible point they can reach. They don't want to let go. So they're quite intent on staying at a low level. So here we are, walking around with a powerful intent to be a bit blocked up, to be a bit lost. And for that reason, what we're doing is telling people to snap out of it, when actually a lot of them don't even realize they might want to. They're still convinced they want to be at a low level and getting on with it, and they're into the hamster wheel of life very intently. I mean, how do you find people who are in that state?
But I kind of, for me, I compare it to astral world. So whenever I've gone into the lower astral, and you meet these kind of dream figures, and you know, you walk up to them and they just make no sense whatsoever. You know, you try and have a conversation with them and they just look you in the eye, completely dumbfounded, like, who the heck are you trying to talk to me? You know, and the mistake I made early on is I used to say to them, "Are you dead?" And they just look at me like, "I'm not dead." And I say, "Well, you know, do you realise where you are now? You know, like, I'm from Earth. I'm still conscious. I'm on Earth, and I'm conscious here now." And most of them just look at me in a completely dumbfounded way, and almost like they're still asleep there.
Yes.
And you get the same reaction here if you talk to people on a spiritual level. They give that same kind of look. It doesn't seem to change.
Well, and so we realise this simple thing. A lot of soul beings have come here in order to experience being asleep. And if you go and beat them across the head and try and punch them out of it, they're not going to look very happy about that. They've come here to have a nice little sort of nap in the illusion, fall asleep in the illusion. For many of them, they just don't want to be awoken from it right now. So it'd be very mean to force them out of it, unless they offer you some sort of invitation to help them out.